Hello, hello. I'm Avaris Harkay, back with The Winter Tower by Everium. Last time we met our intrepid heroine Ekaterina Ivanova, who had just turned 17 and her father was very sick, and she's got a horrible stepmother and stepbrother who are attempting to steal the throne from her, but she did them a fast one and stole the royal seal or something, so in theory, she should still have her birthright intact when she gets back, or at least a way to argue in order to get it back. She got to the Winter Tower. There was a little bit of an altercation with a cat and a hamster. We saved the hamster, and in gratitude, it showed us that there was, in fact, a cellar, and we were going to go check it out. And that's about where the story left off. We'll see what happens. Romanov never told me about this. Is this an emergency escape route? There was an escapeway in Castle Ivanov, too, but it was nowhere near as crude as this one. The tunnel was too coarse for a human to have built it. It felt more believable to say that nature had carved this passage itself. What does that so-called monster look like, I wonder? Does it have the head of a bull and the body of a man, like a minotaur? Or perhaps it's a terrifying creature made up of all kinds of bestial features. Where would its weak spot be? Its neck, or maybe its eyes. Oh well. No such creature could possibly exist. I must have read one too many fairy tales. I should be more concerned about assassins coming for my head. As long as these rings were on my hands, Siren and Igor had no reason to harm my father, but it was far from uncommon for suspicious deaths to occur during battles of succession. Illegitimate children dying after drinking a poisoned glass of wine was merely a tired cliché. Because of that, I'd educated myself on toxicology and trained my immunity against common poisons. I had planned to immediately take revenge on Siren and Igor if they ever made an attempt on my life. For better or worse, Siren never tried to poison me, in spite of her desire to make Igor the family successor. I bet she's only holding back because she can't find a suitable scapegoat. Igor stood to gain the most from my death. Thus, if I were poisoned, everyone would assume it was his doing. And father wouldn't forgive Igor so easily either. The passage grew wider as I crept through, and the buzzing sound that echoed from within the darkness grew louder. I didn't know what it came from, but I was certain that the end of the passage was close. Please don't be a ghost. What, you can handle battles of succession, assassins, and catfights, but you draw the line at, ghosts? Really? Okay. Looks like I should try to find another ghost story next. That sounds a perfect time for winter. Ooh, a winter ghost story! That could be cool. I wonder if something like that exists. Let me know in the comments if there is. I'd love to check that out. The passage was no longer behind me. Now I faced a field that stretched as far as the eye could see. The first thing in particular that caught my attention was... Oh my. I think we met the male lead. A man sat on a chair made of carved stone. Who is that? The hamster jumped out of my pocket and bolted towards the man. I'm guessing that's actually his pet, the hamster. Adorable. Squeak, squeak.
I warned you not to go outside.
Squeak, squeak.
Your family is worried about you. Go home.
Squeak. The man gently patted the hamster before turning his attention to me.
Hi.
Hello?
Who are you?
Me, I am Ekaterina. It wasn't a good idea to tell a complete stranger my name. I should make something up. He didn't seem like a threat. I should be honest. I just tell him my name because, I mean, what's he gonna do with that information? I mean, really, practically speaking. I doubt he's in league with the evil mother-in-law. I'll put it that way. This far out from the capital, come on. I am Ekaterina Ivanova, heiress of Lord Ivanov, and the newly appointed caretaker of the Winter Tower. Who are you?
I am exactly what you see.
What do you mean?
I simply mean I am myself.
Okay, but I'm sure you have a name, right? I meant your name. They were enigmatic words.
Cookie would like to thank you for saving his life.
Oh, his name is Cookie! Well, you can tell him he is welcome anytime. The hamster's name is Cookie?
Yes. He is the youngest of 5. He is always eager to explore.
Why?
Because he is curious about the world beyond those walls.
Fair, I would be too.
I'm sure you were the same when you were a child.
Oh, absolutely. It was true. As a child, I had been fearless. I used to climb trees until my dresses were disheveled, and played in the rain until I caught a cold and was subsequently grounded. No matter what I did, my father never punished me harshly, however. Instead of ordering me to get a disciplined hobby, he simply told Romanoff to accompany me whenever I ventured out. It was exciting to explore every corner of the castle with Romanoff. He certainly is a strange one. Perhaps I should ask him a few questions. Yeah, I guess we're just going to keep getting errors. That's not fun. Why are you here? Do you know my stepmother? I doubt it. Can you understand animals? It seemed like he could. Or at least, insofar as a pet owner could. Aren't you rather suspicious? Is he? Why are you here? I mean, if you're not going to tell me your name, then it's like, okay, well, how'd you get to be here? I don't know, it's a little confrontational. I do want to ask stuff, though. Why are you here?
I'm confined here while I serve my time.
I didn't realize the Winter Tower was also a prison. Serve your time? Did you commit a crime? But you don't look like that type of person.
You can't possibly tell such a thing from one's appearance.
True.
For example, your stepmother is beautiful on the outside, isn't she?
Oh, holy crud, he does know the stepmother. Wait, you a wizard? You could be a wizard. Is it 'cause you're a wizard? I immediately tensed up, brimming with suspicions. Do you know my stepmother? How do you know my stepmother?
The forest told me about her.
Wizard, called it. Can you be more specific?
The horse that brought you here talked about you. And the animals of the forest delivered that information to me.
Was she just monologuing the whole time, which is how the animals got that much information? Like, I know I was because of the narration, but was she doing that aloud for all the creatures of the forest to hear? Or I guess the horse just understands all the intricacies of castle politics. What a horse! What an amazing companion. I feel like they should be getting more screen time, or at least have a sprite, but this horse is super important and it gets no recognition. Very interesting. And we're back here again. Can you understand animals? Yes. We don't need to ask this, but I'm going to anyway. He definitely can. He's a wizard and he understands animals. Nice talent, by the way. You can understand animals.
You can't?
Oh, he a hedge mage who doesn't understand that most of people can't. It appeared to be a genuine question. The majority of people, myself included, cannot.
Everyone was able to at one point.
Oh, are we operating under the ancient magic system, I wonder? Once upon a time in ye olde times, there were no languages that were not spoken by all men and all beasts, and we all understood each other and lived in harmony. Then came the Great Schism. Something like that?
The reason you cannot anymore is that you are hiding your true self.
Or everyone has latent magic. Okay. Not to stroke my own ego, but on the contrary, I consider myself a rather honest person. It was also because of my personality that I sometimes got roped into pointless disputes. Though most of the time it was just with Siren and her son. Anyone else would do the same if they were forced to live with people who constantly got on their nerves.
Voicing your thoughts and feelings doesn't necessarily translate to being open.
Then you might want to be a little more specific. What do you mean then when you say open?
After all, you're suspicious of me, aren't you?
You're becoming a quickly suspicious person. Let's be honest here. I mean, he is. He's just... Aren't you rather suspicious? I mean, follow the conversation, dude. This is kinda whack. And if you've never interacted with someone in order to not know that all this context that I'm telling you about how most people can't, then isn't it weird that you've finally seen another person and you're just like, oh, okay, hi. Wouldn't you be suspicious if our places were reversed? You may have heard of me from Shadow, but I've only just met you. Of course, I need more time to trust you.
No matter how much time passes, you'll hold on to your suspicions.
Are you a future truth seer as well? I mean, you could also allay my fears by literally saying, no, I am not in league with your mother, I'm kind of just a wizard and I know things. That's literally the only explanation I need. Why do you say that?
The only person you trust is yourself.
Legit way of being. I mean, don't call her out on it. It's fine. It's apparently served her quite well so far.
Those rings on your fingers are proof of that.
What? Because she didn't trust the evil stepmother and brother to not be jerks? I don't understand your reasoning. Whatever, dude. I became speechless at the sharp criticism. I had no other option.
Forgive me if I doubt this honesty of yours.
I mean, we have no reason. Everything we saw in the prologue does kind of point to the fact that, yes, the stepmother and the brother would totally take the country or whatever out from under her. No provocation needed. I don't think that's untoward. I don't think that's, dishonest. She's being as honest as she can. What the heck? I don't know about this dude. He's kind of flighty. Believe what you want, but I'd appreciate if we changed the subject.
As you wish.
Well, I think we've asked all the questions, so... If the argument had continued, I had no doubt it would go in circles for an eternity. I should be on my way. I need to get to work now that I've found an axe.
Are you going to use it to break open the doors inside the tower?
Why not? Are you gonna warn me against that? What's going on? Yes. Will that be a problem?
Not at all.
Okay, then. Exactly 30 minutes passed by the time I realized why the man had asked me that question. Come on! Oh, it doesn't work? It's enchanted. The entire Winter Tower is just enchanted. Okay. I swung the axe at the door with all of my might, but it didn't leave a single scratch. How can this be? No matter how blunt the blade was, it was still a weapon. How could the door be completely unscathed? To test my theory, I returned to the forest and swung the axe at a birch tree. The results were the same. Wait, the birch trees are also indestructible? That's news to me, wow. As the blade was about to hit the bark, it was like there was an invisible wall blocking its path. Almost as if the wood repelled the blade.
Are you going to use it to break open the doors inside the tower?
Okay. The whole place is like enchanted and or built of enchanted wood. Interesting. Okay, but what if we attack the hinges? I literally see hinges. What if we, like, strip the hinges and do, like, a Jack Sparrow jailbreak type thing? Are we seriously saying that there's no way to try and attack this in an innovative or interesting way? He already knew these doors wouldn't break, didn't he? He made a fool of me. More like he just didn't share information, which is kind of a jerk thing, but it's not like we were friends or anything, so, you know. At this rate, it would be impossible to complete my coming-of-age ceremony at the Winter Tower. I mean, we could just camp out on the stairs. Worst case scenario, mind you, but there's sconces, there's a flat place where you can potentially build a fire. Incidentally, if you can't hurt the doors with a blade, would fire work? Don't tell me the woods are also unburnable. But there's, like, sconces. There's places you could make fire and just make livable. Not the best situation, mind you, but, you know, desperate times and all. Not worst case scenario. The reason the tower had been neglected was now clear. What was the point in maintaining it if the doors didn't open in the first place? I couldn't believe something so fairy-tale-like was taking place before my very eyes. There was nothing else I could do, so I returned to the basement. The man sat in the same spot he'd been in 30 minutes ago. You already knew that an axe couldn't break the doors, didn't you?
Yes.
Then why did you just let me go? Did you enjoy watching me struggle?
I didn't bother telling you because you would have tried it regardless.
If you told me it was enchanted, I wouldn't have. Maybe a Katarina would have, but not me. Wizards are fairly trustworthy in some regards. I mean, I don't know about you, but, you know. It's true that I do as I like, but I'm not so stubborn as to completely disregard others' advice.
Even if I'd warned you, you would have attempted to knock the doors down regardless.
But at least I wouldn't feel bitter about it, being like, but you didn't say anything.
Am I wrong?
I wouldn't have kept at it for half an hour at least. It was frustrating, but he was right, should accept his criticism. How dare he waste my time and energy, I should teach him a lesson. This isn't really his fault, he just kind of withheld, which is kind of jerky, but we're not friends. We don't know this guy from Joe, okay? I don't think we have to accept any criticism, just accept it's frustrating, and that's what happened. He's kind of, you know, he's not overly helpful, don't expect too much from this guy. I feel like this is the option where I would just hurl the axe at his head. So, unfortunately, no, striking this part. We don't have to accept criticism. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. My hands were still sore from holding the axe for so long. Arguing seemed like a waste of time, so I accepted his criticism. I'm going to amend that to, so I gave up arguing. Fine, I lose. You didn't lose anything. You just... So dramatic, a Katarina. You're right. So, is there any other way to open those unbreakable doors?
There is.
Well, sweet. Tell us. What is it?
Me.
Okay, can you please open the doors? Open sesame and all that. Ahem. He assumed I didn't comprehend his reply, and added an explanation.
I'm the only one who can open them, because I was the one who sealed them.
Great, so please open the doors already. What's wrong with you? Jeez. Okay, never mind. We shouldn't have accepted anything. If it's his fault that he sealed the doors shut, then this is all on him. Never mind, he's a total jerk. I don't like him. I nearly snapped the moment he revealed he was behind all of this trouble. No kidding. This is just purposely obtuse at this point. However, I pulled myself together. Probably still the best policy. I still kind of want to hurl the axe at his head, but that's just me. If he told the truth, I would need his help. All of this trouble over a few doors. Well then, if you could come help me open those doors...
No.
Did he just glitch? Doors...
No. I must touch the doors to open them, but I cannot leave this area.
Huh? What? You said you were the one who shut them, but you won't go near them? What kind of nonsense is this? On second thought, the man hadn't moved a single step from that one spot. Perhaps he had difficulties moving around due to an injury, similarly to my father. Huh. No, he mentioned that, he was sealed there himself, like he's stuck, like incarcerated, like he committed a crime. He's gonna, like, use the main character to get free somehow. This is starting to be even less good. Silly me. I read Under the Thorns and I expected this to be a light, cute, fluffy tale. As if our main character doesn't have enough problems already. Recalling how I was about to force a sick person to move around made my heart uneasy. As I searched for my voice, the man shifted to reposition himself on the chair. You look fine to me. Why do you say you can't leave this place? What were you sentenced to?
That I cannot tell you.
Well, if you won't help yourself, then I can't help you either. It isn't a big deal to walk through one little passage, is it? Do you wish to watch me freeze to death in the frosty outdoors? Are you positive?
There's a town near the forest. I believe you'd be far more comfortable there. Is there any particular reason for you to stay in this tower?
There is, actually. I must complete my year-long coming-of-age ceremony here. The man remained silent for a while. Finally, he opened his mouth to respond.
Must you open them? No matter what?
Yes. He slowly stood from his chair and walked closer at an even slower pace. I hadn't noticed it from a distance, but up close, he was as pale as a ghost. It was as if he had never seen sunlight in his entire life. He spoke softly but clearly, as though reciting a prayer.
If I enter, I won't be able to lift a finger.
Then I guess I'll carry you?
Despite that, if you truly wish to stay at the Winter Tower, I will help you.
Okay, that's all we needed then.
In exchange,
He paused before continuing.
will you promise to look after me? And never betray me?
Look after, yes. Certainly in the same way that Kazuki would look after Megumin. As far as never betray, that's gonna be contingent on you. You never betray me to, like, the evil stepmother or anyone. Or anyone. And yeah, we're solid. So, promise with contingencies. Don't promise. But that seems like we'd probably end things here. I mean, what constitutes betrayal in your case? You betray me, I'm betraying you. That's a promise. It almost sounded like a wedding vow. Ew! Ekaterina, why? I swear it. I don't know what you're so worried about, but I will become Lord Ivanova soon. Taking care of a person would be no problem whatsoever.
Then my name is Alexis Yevgenyk Strelnikov.
Cool. Seriously, Ekaterina, what is your deal? That was more like a knightly vow. Don't worry about it. Well, we finally got his name. As I said earlier, I'm Ekaterina Ivanova, but you can just call me Kate.
Kate.
If we're done here, let's move on. I'm starving after all that chopping. Chapter 3. Elf. Oh, we're gonna meet elves now. Cool. The sun had already set by the time I led Alexis out of the basement. I stood beside him as I watched him open the doors. I was quite curious to know how he would open them, since they were apparently unbreakable. Alexis paused at the first door and warned me.
As long as you are gentle and honest with them, they won't harm you.
Huh? Who do you mean? Alexis placed both of his hands on the door, ignoring my question. Stellar guy, always ignoring questions. He mumbled to himself. After a few seconds, the door that hadn't so much as budged for me opened with a creak. I can't believe my eyes. I know, it just opens for him? I guess it's because he sealed the doors with his magic and stuff. Friggin' wizards. Cute! I feel like we should have sound for that. As the door opened, loud music exploded out. This was the only way I could describe it. Clapping tambourines, pounding drums, and lyrics came together to create a cacophony of noise. 4 little ones danced to the rhythm, each facing the blazing fireplace. I didn't hear anything from the other side of the door earlier. The little ones became frightened when they noticed us, hurriedly dispersing and hiding behind chairs or below the table. Hello? I'm Ekaterina Ivanova. It's Ivanova! That's Ivanova. She's Ivanova. Ivanova. The little ones parroted my name. I will be the caretaker of this tower for 1 year, starting now. How shameless! Oh, we are not going to get along. Lovely.
Shameless. It was abandoned. Abandoned.
The little ones weren't exactly welcoming. What should I do? There was nothing for me to be sorry about. I should remain aloof. While true, that's not going to ingratiate you with the little fae folk. Though I didn't know the reason they seemed angry at me, I should apologize. Maybe it has to do with, like, her family name. Like, if the Winter Tower was something that was part of their kingdom but left abandoned for many years, then it's like, it may not be your personal responsibility, but as someone in power who is expected to succeed the throne and all, yeah, apologize, take responsibility, and do better in the future. That's just common sense. I'm sorry that this place was poorly managed.
You aren't being honest.
Excuse you?
Dishonest. Liar. Liar.
The little ones were furious despite my apology. Good grief. Tried to do the right thing, even. Is it because my heart and Kate's are just not aligned? One by one, they scuttled towards the fireplace. For fear of seeing them burn themselves, I rushed to stop them. See, occasionally she does nice stuff, so it's like, she does normal things. Yeah. But then, the flame died out on its own. I questioned Alexis while watching the little ones walk into the unlit fireplace. Is this my fault?
Indeed.
Excuse you, what? Who are they?
The elves.
I mean, I gathered that from their title cards, but can you explain a little more? Just like a wizard, so very unhelpful. When I stared at Alexis, he cleared his throat and continued.
They don't generally live in groups in humans' homes. They simply play around in empty houses until someone moves in. This place, however, has been empty for quite a long time.
I have no idea how long this tower has been vacant. In any case, what you're saying is that they live in unoccupied houses. Then why are they criticizing me? Did they not enjoy living in this tower in the meantime?
They were offended because you introduced yourself as the caretaker.
Okay, that doesn't... Explain that then, because that doesn't track either.
They like clean houses that are well taken care of.
Okay, so there was some sort of misunderstanding as far as the verbiage that went on, is what you're saying. Because she introduced herself as the caretaker, and the place has not been taken care of, so they're confused and miffed. Gotcha. Okay, you're slightly helpful, wizard, but you're not very clear, and you're not very forthright or forthcoming. Still don't like that.
Not dirty wrecks like this tower.
Well, who does? Although, I will say, based on that hallway and this background, it looks like it's doing just fine, honestly, despite everyone's complaints. Regardless, now that the door was open, part of my goal had been achieved. I asked Alexis to open the other doors, but he refused.
Until you make good with the elves, I won't help you open the remaining doors.
What do you mean? You didn't mention that before.
You promised to look after me. That includes taking care of the elves who live in this tower.
Since when? Since when? Okay, now who's dishonest? His words were manipulative, but I couldn't risk losing my only chance to gain access to the rest of the tower. Yeah, we got ourselves a tricksy little wizard here. All right. Since I brought you here, I will keep my word. I will settle things with them properly. Just tell me what to do. I don't know how to get them to come back out. At my request, Alexis walked over to the fireplace and knocked on a brick 3 times.
Hello, elves. Will you come out for a minute?
One elf peeped out from the fireplace.
What's the matter, Alexis?
Kate would like to speak with all of you.
No, she's a liar.
Says you.
Kate is my partner.
Ugh, don't use that word. You are a leech. You have agreed to be a leech. That was literally the bargain.
Do you truly dislike her?
Alexis is good. Even Nova is bad.
Is it my ancestor or me?
She promised not to lie again.
What on earth did I lie about? It also sounds like, according to the storyline, it doesn't matter. One way or another, they would have gotten miffed and left. Like, the choices I don't think have too much influence, honestly. Alexis signaled for me to step forward with a glance. I gently walked towards the fireplace. Oh no, Ekaterina, how could you? You don't understand. The only way to actually win with little suckers like these is you just don't say a frickin' word, and then they can't accuse you of lying because you didn't say a word. You just said words. Now they're just gonna call you a liar again. Oh well. From the bottom of my heart, I apologize for what I said before. But to be completely honest with you, I still don't understand why you're so angry at me. Even if you dislike me, you only have to put up with me for 1 year, however. That's how long I must stay here. After that, I promise you will have the tower back. The elf stared at me for a while, then stretched an arm out towards me. Is he inviting me for a handshake? As I took his hand, I felt marble against my palm. The elf whispered quietly,
Please take good care of Alexis.
I'll do my best. At least as well as you do, any other burden.
Huh? See you next time!
The elf disappeared into the chimney. What he'd handed me was a candy drop. I peered at Alexis with a confused expression. He explained softly.
You may keep that.
Is it poison?
It's a gift for you as an offer of friendship.
Okay, so definitely poison. Gotcha. Oh god, she ate it. The candy had a strong, bitter taste. I told you, it's flippin' poison! Ew. Do elves enjoy deeply bitter flavors?
He pranked you.
I told you, it's flippin' poison! Huh. I shouldn't yell at a child, should I? Oh, those weren't children. Those were elves. They're like thousands of years old and stuff. They knew what they were doing. They're just being jerks. The tower's residents were certainly a challenge to get along with. As I surmised, elves lived upon every floor of the tower. The ones in the pantry were having a snowball fight with flour. Who keeps the flour stocked for them if there's no caretaker? Just questions. Curious. The ones in the bedroom were having a pillow fight with the blankets tied around their necks like capes while feathers flew everywhere. The ones in the bathroom were splashing around in a tub full of water. The ones in the library were throwing books at one another. Yeah, these elves, they're just such sprightly, beautiful creatures. It's not like they're unruly bunch of miscreants who need to be evicted immediately. From bitter candy to rock-hard cookies and suspicious jellies, they gave me a wide variety of unappetizing sweets. Don't eat them! Even so, they had gentle hearts. Do they, though? Do they? Are you sure about that? Each and every one of them whispered to me, please take good care of Alexis. Then they'd hand me those bizarre snacks of theirs. What was Alexis to the elves? After all of the doors, including the storage shed, had been opened, I brought Shadow inside. Forgive me, Shadow. I didn't mean to leave you outside all day. When she noticed Alexis standing beside me, she pressed her head against his chest. That gesture indicated she wanted a head pat. It was unusual for Shadow to do so with a person she'd only just met.
Hello, Shadow. You are certainly the courageous girl I heard you were.
Alexis stroked Shadow a couple of times, then turned to me.
Shall we grab dinner?
Yes, let's. If I were to describe the tower to someone who had never seen it before, I would tell them the general structure wasn't too different from that of a castle. The main difference was that while a castle had the bedroom, kitchen, and bathrooms on the same floor, this tower had each of them on different floors due to a lack of space. I would just say due to vertical structure, but okay. Therefore, the kitchen was on the second floor, the bedroom on the third, the washroom on the fourth, the library on the fifth, and so on. The pantry, which I remembered to be in chaos, was well organized, clean, and quiet when I returned from bringing Shadow into the tower. "Can you lend me a hand?" Alexis responded with exhaustion. "Girl, it's literally in the deal to take care of him. You honestly think he's not going to be a leech in this situation?"
I don't have one to give.
She asked for a hand, not a literal one. Whatever, wizard.
I told you, I can't lift a single finger in here.
Okay, then what's that hand doing in the air? I'm just curious. Just asking questions. Then what are those things attached to your arms and legs that move so freely?
My hands and feet.
Talking to you is truly frustrating. Was this what the elves had meant when they told me to take good care of Alexis? I handed him a bowl of beef stew. You made stew... Okay. You know, stew takes forever, but it's always in these fantasy settings where it's like, yes, but there's stew. Just... It would be soup, but okay, whatever. I handed him a bowl of beef stew, trying my best to hold back a bitter smirk. Here. I'm not a cook, though, so I can't guarantee it will taste good.
Thanks.
He gently took the bowl, then started to drink straight from it. He coughed and spat out the hot stew. Wasteful. Ungrateful.
Hot.
Then maybe you should have waited. I gave you a spoon. You didn't think it was just for show, did you?
I don't know how to use one.
Oh my god, the learned helplessness on this dude is off the charts. This man was becoming more ridiculous by the second. How can a grown man not know how to use a spoon? I should teach him how. What a fool, he doesn't know how, let him be. I guess we're supposed to show him how? But I can't lift a finger in here. Oh, you can't lift a finger. Shouldn't we just leave it out until it cools enough and then he can just drink it, since apparently he can do that on his own? I mean, I would like to just do this and just leave him alone and be like, try again. It's fine. You'll get it eventually. Fine, we'll show him how. Not that it'll do any good. Look closely. This is how you hold a spoon. You scoop the stew out like this, and then eat it. Alexis observed me attentively and attempted to mimic my actions. He was so awkward about it that it took him hours to finish that single bowl of beef stew. It's like he's a baby. I can't remember it clearly anymore, but my nanny must have been the one who taught me how to use a spoon. Did you not have anyone to teach you?
That's a difficult question.
Is it? I know you're a wizard and all, but did you just spontaneously pop into existence as an amalgamation of magic? Or did you have human parents? It should be pretty simple to know that.
Perhaps there was. Perhaps there wasn't.
Okay, you're just a magic amalgamation. Gotcha. When you said you couldn't lift a finger earlier, did you mean that you were useless beyond imagination?
In a way, I suppose so.
Okay, that's funny enough that I'll probably let everything else slide. He opened his palm.
Do you see my hand?
What about it?
My fingers. They're far too long.
Are they? So?
They get in the way.
As hands do? This fellow was even worse than Igor in some ways. Fine. I won't question you again. I now realize that accepting you the way you are is far easier than trying to understand you. Yeah, he's just gonna be a leech. Don't worry about it. You agreed to this so you could do your 1-year thing. Honestly, a little too steep a cost, but whatever. Then again, Ekaterina is rich. She's gonna be a ruler at some point, so she'll be fine. I exclaimed as I took his empty bowl. I will cook for you until you learn to do it. Alexis nodded.
I think I can learn if I study it from a book.
Ugh. Why do I get the feeling we'll have to start with the alphabet? That was how my first day at the tower ended, with the ominous feeling that my future would be far more challenging than anticipated. Chapter 4. No Snow Sugar. And we'll have to find out what happens next time. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was as entertaining for you as it was for me, and I hope you have a good one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!